Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, no matter where you're watching us from right now. My name is Michael Firth, one of the founding field advisory board members of a company called Neumi. If you don't know what that is, you certainly will as we get through the presentation today. Having said that, I just want to say we are live streaming into 74 different countries, and we'd love to see where you're all watching us from. So as you come on, just type in where you are watching us from. Perhaps you're watching us on the Everything Neumi Worldwide channel, which is the hub for all our live stream events. So we're going to put on a 30-second timer because I know it takes that long for some people to get online and see the alerts, and then we'll go live after that. So we'll hop in with a quick timer before. Alrighty, I love this technology because we get right around the world. In fact, we are in 74 different countries. Michael Firth here, if you just logged on, founding field advisory board member and crown with Neumi. And so do us a favor, we are live streaming right around the world. Type in where you are watching us from in the chat today. We would love to see that as we're going through today's event. Having said that, if you do not speak fluent English, just know that's not a problem because the one destination for languages, webinars in multiple languages is the Everything Neumi Worldwide platform. So with that in mind, we also say that we're going to draw a free product drawing on every single one of our events. So towards the end of this event, I'm going to draw a winner from last week. I'll randomly pick a name. But in the meantime, do me a favor, type in "pick me please" in the chat, even if you're watching the review, the replay on this later on, because you could go in the draw for a free bottle of product next week. Having said that, it's my pleasure today because we're going to do a success profile interview. If you're on the events every week, which is Monday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time in the US, which is right now, you'll know that we interview doctors, naturopaths, medical practitioners about our product and their results they're seeing. We interview people who have fantastic results as everyday mums and dads and people using the product. But today we're going to take a different tack because you know what? The guy I'm going to introduce you to, he won't blow his own trumpet. So I decided I'm going to blow it for him. And that is Alex Monterrosa. Alex is actually the master distributor of Neumi, meaning that he helped start the company. I was around there as one of the founding advisory board members at the same time, but Alex is the master distributor. So we're going to pull some words of wisdom out of Alex just to talk about why Neumi for him and also why he sees it as such an amazing opportunity. So with that in mind, please welcome Alex Monterrosa.
Hello, Michael. How's everyone doing today? It's a pleasure to be on and it's a pleasure to be sharing with everyone.
Yeah. Well, I want to say, you're probably wondering why Alex is in his car. Apparently, there's an evacuation happening in his building, and you can't factor for everything, can you?
That's right. It's you got to be ready for whatever comes your way, and it's part of what we do.
Totally. So what I'd love you to start off with, I know your background and your story is pretty inspiring. When we met in Dominican Republic a few years ago at an event, but for the benefit of people who don't know, tell us a little bit about your background in the industry.
My background in the industry is very interesting because right out of high school, my father had been invited to a company that I'm sure none of you have ever heard of. It's a company called Amway. Back in the days, in the late 1980s, he got invited to the opportunity to be able to develop an opportunity for residual income. He was already an entrepreneur, but he didn't have that residual income. His income depended on everything that he did. So that's when I was first exposed through him to network marketing. And I realized it was something that I really liked. I liked the sound of it. I liked the fact that you could build something for yourself that if you did it right, it would stay done and money would keep coming in, which meant you could grab a hold of the lifestyle you wanted and build for it and be able to keep it.
Yeah, wow. Fantastic. Now, your dad, being a second generation network marketer, he obviously had a huge impact on your life and now the success you're having in the industry. So maybe tell us about that. And also that leads itself to where I met you, which was the company before this one. So tell us a bit about your dad.
Well, having seen my dad, just go guns blazing with the opportunity that I just mentioned to you, I soon realized that he was doing it for real. After a year that he had gotten involved in that company, he never looked back. He actually shut down three companies that he had started. He had an import export company as an industrial engineer. He would export industrial supplies to all different parts of Latin America, living in Miami. My mother had a travel agency, which back in the days, they were very profitable. Now you can buy everything online. And the other one was he would import marble furniture and marble floors and all that into Miami from Latin America. So having seen how he diversified with conventional businesses and how he left all of that little by little because he had been able to find a way where he no longer had to be the machine to be able to produce was very appealing to me, especially at my young age, because I thought, I don't want to work my whole life. And I'm seeing these individuals that, my dad for that matter, they're making it happen. They're actually learning from other individuals that have been around longer. And it's one of the big keys of this industry. You're always going to have someone that's going to teach you. You're always going to have someone that's going to be available. And you will always have access to someone that will mentor you if you're really serious about this. All right. We've all heard the teacher always shows up when the student is ready. And I was able to see that through my dad. I saw how in the span of about a year and a half, he literally just went full time into network marketing and never looked back. And I saw how his income was always stable up until the day he passed, literally from 1989 up until about 3 years ago. His lifestyle never changed. If anything, it always went up. Okay, it was always a little more secure based on what he did. So that to me, it rang my bell. It said whether you believe in it or not, you're seeing the results of someone that gets committed to something, becomes a student of the industry, which is the one thing we all have to do no matter what level you're at. I saw that he would always be involved in learning, and his personal development was at the top of his priority list. So I realized that this was an opportunity for you to develop yourself at the same time that you would develop a business and structure a business that would, in essence, give you the lifestyle you wanted. So that to me was like a no-brainer. So even though I went to develop conventional businesses, I stepped away from network marketing for a few years. I saw how I went up and I would come down. Conventional business does that to you, especially when you depend on things that are out of your control. And I saw he just cruised along and traveled the world and went everywhere and helped individuals achieve the lifestyle they wanted. So that to me was the greatest example and the greatest legacy he could have left, more than an inheritance. Because an inheritance is when you leave someone something for someone. A legacy is when you leave something in someone. So he left that example to me. So I knew this was it.
Love it, love it. In fact, I haven't put this into the questions, but I'd love to if you expand on, because for me, when you talk about the student being ready and the teacher appearing, I had an upline that was like a fly to the next smelly thing, who left and went elsewhere. And I reached out when I met Alex, because we came from a similar background in the mortgage industry. And when I heard your story with the previous company, how you'd lost everything and then used that to rebuild, that was so inspiring to me. Can you share that with people?
Yeah, I had been involved in network marketing, like I said, back when my dad got in, but I never really had the success that he was able to achieve because I never really got into the personal development and into the frame of mind that you actually need to be able to make this work, become a servant leader, and a lot of those things that really make this happen. I saw how he would do it. I wasn't doing that. So I decided just that wasn't for me. I stepped away, went on, created a conventional business. Funny enough, the conventional business took off real fast by applying the principles that I had learned by being around network marketing. It's incredible how individuals come in and they seem to not be getting ahead when in reality it's all happening inside of you, and it has to be that way before it can manifest outside. So to me, I saw my dad growing in his income and in his lifestyle and all that. So and I said, okay, you know what? It's not the company that didn't work for me. It was me. It was myself. It was I had to go to work on me, and I had to go and face a lot of those fears and face a lot of those things that I wasn't willing to do back at that time. That I realized, if what would happen if I do take those steps in making my lifestyle secure. by being able to nurture myself and nurture the individuals around me and surround myself with individuals that are not only there as figures, but they're there as leading figures and as figures to be able to help you and mentor you and go places you've never been. You know, the fastest way to get from point A to point B being where you want to be, is to be able to surround yourself with individuals that are there or that have been there and that are willing to teach you how to go there. And it's not every day. In my case, it's never happened once that you have someone knocking at your door telling you, hey, I'm here to teach you how to be financially successful and how to create the lifestyle you want for yourself. So I realized it was all up to me if it was going to be.
Yep, that's great. And so tell the story about the power cord though, because that just hits home.
The one industry that I had really flourished in by applying all the principles of network marketing was the mortgage industry. Okay, I knew how to put systems together by virtue of being around. I knew how to create teams, and by seeing my dad, by that legacy that I'm talking to you about, by just seeing the example firsthand. And soon enough, I went from not knowing anything about mortgages and partnered up with someone that knew everything about mortgages, but knew nothing about how to structure systems and how to structure ways of making things happen so that they would stay secure. And we grew to hundreds of loan officers in the city of Miami, actually became the fastest growing Hispanic owned, Latin owned company in Miami back all the way from 2000 to about 2008. Okay. And we all know what happened to that industry. The big global financial crisis took place in 2008. And in that span of time, I had always been approached by other individuals in network marketing telling me that I should check out their company. And I never did. I said, it's not for me again. I said I would never do network marketing again. And if it wasn't because of that global financial crisis, and the things that I went through, having lost 39 investment properties, I had 6 luxury automobiles. And at that point, it was just my wife and I had 6 cars. And you think, why so many if it's only 2 people? So I said I would never do that again. You learn a lot of lessons along the way. I'm only going to stick to 5 this time around, not 6. But in all honesty and kidding aside, you learn a lot of lessons that you need to go through. Now, the one thing you can't leave out in life are the lessons that you learn. I lost 39 investment properties that we had bought with a group of investors. I owned 50% of that at the ripe age of 33 years old. So in my head, my financial future was secured for the rest of my life, right? But if it hadn't been because of that crisis and having lost it all, I would have never looked into network marketing again. And I didn't even want to. And it was a good friend of mine that knew what I was going through, living in $1 million house and already 2 months late, okay, on my electricity bill, not knowing where I was going to pay my bills from. And even if you saved up, which I did, savings happen to go real fast, and you tend to go through them real quick when when you hit dire straits. And the funny thing is that I didn't know what I was going to do. Now, my mentality had gone from having built such a massive organization in the conventional business in mortgage broking to actually contemplating going to work at a Walmart, at a Target. I said, you know what? I've already had enough. I've already built enough. I don't think this is ever going to happen for me again. I don't think I'll ever have that opportunity. So I'll just play it safe and play secure, get a 9 to 5, and live with whatever I can and just tell stories about what I had done for the rest of my life. And if it wasn't for this good friend of mine, which is always the case in network marketing, you always get invited by someone that thinks enough of you that you should be checking something out. And I did. He actually invited me 5 times in a span of about 5 months. He would call me once a month just to invite me to check out this company that had just began. Knowing that I had been in network marketing, he figured if Alex could take a good look at this, he would probably be good at it, right? So he kept inviting me. With every invitation, I gave him a little harsher answer of no. We went from no to like, don't call me again, and to if you ever call me again, I'm never gonna talk to you. And that, it always got my replies always got a little stronger. And I don't know how he had the guts to call me the 6th time. And the 6th time he said, Alex, I want to make you a proposal to meet the company owner, to meet the founder of that company. At that time, this was back in 2008. so that you can tell me if this is something that I should be doing or not. Now, having been in network marketing, I knew that that was a pitch, and I knew that it was something that you tell individuals to kind of get their opinion by them checking out the information. But he had no experience in network marketing, so I knew it wasn't something prefabricated. It really came out of his heart, and I said, all right, you know what? I'll look into it. And even with that, my ego was still lingering around, so I had to go through like three proofs. Number one, I wanted to make sure that the product that I was going to get involved in the company was something that was good. It wasn't something that was going to compete with something else. Number two, I wanted to make sure that it was a company that was being ran by individuals that had a clear vision of they were going. And at that point, I came across Steve Scott, and I realized, okay, there is a vision here. There's a vision that till this day, that vision is still going on. Okay. And number three, I wanted to go and talk to my dad, him having been such a icon in the Latin American business for network marketing, because he spearheaded the opening of that company, Amway, into many different countries in Latin America. And it happened to be the first company to get into all the different countries around the world. So they really broke the ice for a lot of individuals. So I said, I'm going to talk to him. And deep inside, I was hoping one of those things would be a negative so that I wouldn't do it, because I had said I wouldn't do it again. Funny enough, they were all green lights, green lights, green lights. So then I said, I got nothing else but to go and check out what's being put together. And then the day that I did, and I opened up my mind after having giving everyone such a hard time, I realized that that was what life had prepared me for. With all my ups and downs, including the downs, that's literally what life had prepared me for. So then I realized this is where I needed to be in this industry. And I knew what I had to do from previous experiences, and I went to work. And
now, on that note,
yeah, I was gonna say I went to I went to work, not without going through my moments of decision. One of the things that I had to decide on is I was already 2 months behind on my electricity. Okay. And I didn't have any money. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was at the point that I just mentioned to you that I was. And I realized that even if I wanted to join, which I did, I didn't have the means to be able to join the company. I didn't even have credit cards. My credit cards were already not only maxed out, but I was already behind. They had taken them away. It was really the worst financial situation I've ever been through in my life. And if it hadn't been for Claudia at that time, that she pulled out an emergency credit card that she had been saving, and to this day, and I don't even want to know the answer really, but because I know what the final outcome was of what that emergency was with that credit card. Now, mind you, I had credit limits on Platinum American Express, which is 100 grand, 200 grand a month. Okay, and that credit card she had, the limit was $700. And for me to be able to join the company that I had just been presented and all the green lights were there, it cost $692. So now my decision was, do we pay the electricity with that card, or do I join that company with this card? What would you have done? Well, that I don't know why I did it. It was just my gut feeling and knowing that I had found what I had been looking for. And a lot of times the opportunity and the treasures come to your life when you least expect it, right? So then I said, all right, I want to join the company. They're going to shut my electricity down. And they did. So I went 2 months in the city of Miami in the month of August, which is the hottest month of the year. And I decided to join that company at that time versus paying my electricity. And I knew that if I just got going, I would eventually catch up. So my father lived next to me at that time. Actually, it was pretty much the whole family. We all owned houses next to each other. And what I did is I went and I gathered all the electricity cords that I could find inside my house. I went to my dad's backyard and plugged it in one of his backyard plugs. And just to be able to throw electricity over the fence, put it in through my kitchen window, which was on the first floor of $1 million house, and to be able to connect that cord to my refrigerator and a fan so that I could sleep at night. And every single night for the next 2 weeks, I lived at a candlelight, literally candlelight. And I would love to say that it was the romantic guy inside me that lit up all those candles in my house every night. But in reality, it was need, and it was not being able to supply for what I needed. Now I always tell individuals, my lights went out inside my house, but my light inside was brighter than ever because I knew I had found an opportunity where I could build on and eventually get out of there, and I did. I really did.
Now it's interesting because at that point you'd been through what you'd been through. I heard that story coming from the mortgage industry myself and going, man, that's inspiring. Down to zero, the last $700 on a credit card, getting your power on, and then boom, you'd built to the top of the industry again. Now, having said that, that journey eventually abruptly ended because the founder of that company retired, and I know that also all of a sudden without income, and Neumi helped me build back from the pinnacle of the industry as well. So my reasons, and for those that don't know, Steve's billions in sales, right? And he's just driven by heart and integrity. But why, from your perspective, why did you stay partnered with Steve Scott? Curious.
Well, because I realized that the one reason that I had come into that company was because it was his vision, and his vision was clear, and his vision allowed me to develop and allow me to build the lifestyle and to be able to get out of where I was, to not only go to where I wanted to, but help many other families to get to where they were. Unfortunately, the individuals that stayed with that company after Steve retired, they had no clue about what they were doing. They were in it for one thing, and it was the money. Okay, and it's not, money's not a bad thing. I always tell people, they always wish you love, health, love, and money. Well, out of the three, keep the money, because you can buy health if you have money, and you can buy love. People say, "Oh, love can't be bought." Try giving your partner or try giving your kids a little better gift next Christmas Eve. They don't love you a little more, right? But the reality of it is that when he left, the vision left with the visionary. And I had always heard that if you want to go far in life, the best way to do it and the fastest way to do it is to jump on the shoulders of a giant. And that's literally what I had done for the previous 10 years in that company. And when that giant left, there was nowhere to go. Okay, it was like cutting the head of the giant that had made everything happen. So that company had really no direction in where to go. So the individuals that were running it, they were running something totally different, and that's where I really lost the passion, not for the industry, but for that company.
Yeah, totally get that. So with that in mind, help, and with some others, we put in some, locked our brains together and our hearts and everything together, and we launched Neumi. It's now 3.5, nearly 4 years ago. The question is, how well has Neumi grown over the 3 years? And I've got a little graph we're going to put up, but check this out, guys. This is the of Neumi. So 2 million was just the very first full year, another full year, another full year to scale there. But what do you think is the biggest reason that Neumi has grown, and what separates them from the rest?
Well, I think the biggest reason is that it wasn't a company that was just thought out in a garage and said, let's go out and create something else to compete with everybody else, especially in the industry that everybody wants to be a part of, because they know that it's the fastest way to get your product or your service to individuals, which is by word of mouth. And you and I, and we know this, you and I didn't go without having gone through our struggles after we left that company. After we had produced millions of dollars for that company, we literally had to come to the conclusion of it was something that needed to happen, so that then we could still partner up and continue with Steve's vision to a couple of years after he left that company and retired. And he never wanted to be a part of network marketing again. He was retired for good. He was going to dedicate himself for what he did his whole life and what he was good at, what came natural to him, is just finding breakthrough products and plugging them into TV. And you and I had a vision of what could happen if things were done in the right manner under one big vision or one big umbrella. So for the next, after about a year and a half, for the next few months, we were calling Steve, pretty much ganged up on him, and he would kept saying, nope, I don't want to do a network marketing company, nope. And you and I would have a little bit of frustration because we knew that if it was done right, it would be big. And we're living proof that that was true, because Steve had something in his hands that needed to get out to the world, and we knew that we could help him do that, and we knew that we could make it happen. So we came and we ganged up on Ryan Scott, right? So we figured we can't get to Steve right away. Let's get closer to him. And we actually talked to Ryan and told him what the potential would be. Now, at that time, it was only potential. But the way that that potential would come to fruition is if we incorporated all the elements that by experience we knew needed to happen in this company. Have an amazing compensation plan that pays across the board equally to everybody, not just to individuals that have the experience and are always going to make the money, the ones at the top. We were thinking about the future. We were thinking about those individuals that really come into network marketing for what the real purpose of it was when it started, which was an additional income, helping individuals make an extra $200, $300, $400, $500 a month. Which, by the way, if most individuals made an extra $500 a month, they would never lose their house. Okay, and that's where most people are at right now, that where they need to make that kind of money. So we put something together with a compensation plan that is incredibly fair, whether you have experience or not. Okay, and if you have the experience, obviously you can get to the top ranks in this company and get the top incomes in this company. But at the end of the day, it's going to be based on you, because that personal development, it wasn't taken away. We knew that if we started a company with a product that no one had, that we wouldn't compete with anyone, with technology that was front running technology across the world that nobody had inside and outside the industry. And that's what Steve had. He had that vision. And we knew that if we had a compensation plan, a product, and leadership from the get go that had the best interest at heart of the individuals that came in, and not the best interest just in their pockets, we knew that we wouldn't go wrong. And Steve kind of applied one of the things that has always brought him success, which is to partner up, okay, to partner up with individuals that are effective. And soon enough, he started to create a corporate team around them that were very effective partners. Until this day, they are. They took care of what they did best, and you and I took care of what we did best. I helped define the compensation plan at Neumi, and you literally helped put together the system which we now run Neumi by, which has been very simplified, and we're able to bring all the platforms that allow us to have the tools for individuals to just grow as far as they want. And we call it Neumi 1, 2, 3. It doesn't get simpler than that. So that's what we started with until this day. That's been part of that growth of that graph from day one. The changes that we've made have been adaptations to tweak to make better. In essence, they put more money in the compensation plan. They've done a lot more things that have just enhanced it, but we'll never look back. By still holding on to our structure and to our foundation, that a company, when it's ran by true leaders on both ends, and the corporate end listens to the field, and it is a field ran, leadership ran company. We're in 74 countries, as you mentioned, and there's no way that I can expect, even with my level of knowledge or your level of knowledge, we can expect to understand how each and every one of those 74 countries work. So what do? We partner up with individuals that catch on to the vision, and we support them with the elements that we have here at Neumi. And that's been a huge part of our success.
You know, it's interesting. It has been the biggest breath of fresh air for me. I don't think I've ever in my entire history of this industry had a corporate team that actually does listen and do things. And that's one of the secrets. Like I said, they helped us, let us create the systems from the field rather than a corporate person that never built network marketing before, which a lot of companies do. And they don't understand why they miss the mark. Now, having said that, we've got free tools. We don't charge for membership fees. You know, we're paying more than everyone commission-wise, all that sort of stuff. But what is as a leader, what's your daily method of operation or the habits that you think are important to be successful?
Well, daily method of operation for me is not to allow myself to forget where we were when we didn't have all these elements, and to be able to use and learn to become a master of the tools, master of the things that we have around us by virtue of just being teachable. Okay. And by being teachable and you learn what you have around you, they said that a man or woman is as good as the tools that he or she uses on an everyday basis to be able to structure your life. And we started out with great tools, and now we've only enhanced that And not only that, we've stayed in the line of focus that we're here to move one of the best technology, nutritional, and skincare products that the world has ever seen. Not to be able to charge, as you said, membership fees, not to be able to charge for parallel side businesses that most companies do because they need to do that to survive, and to charge for their apps, to charge for their back office uses when you have the enhancements and all that. We never done that. And that's one of the things that we were happy about, because then we're able to give someone a true opportunity and not have them earn money so that then they can spend it back into the company and not get rewarded for it. So that was one of the things that I really liked, and corporate has stuck to that. Steve Scott said we will never charge a membership fee or renewal fees for anybody to come in, and we've stuck to that. And I think that doing what you say you're going to do is part of the growth in this industry, and people see that. They read through the lines, and they read that what you're saying is the truth. And as time progresses, it only cements itself better in the things that you said you were going to do and that we said we were going to do. Another one of the daily methods of operation is making myself available, realizing that the only way that you're going to achieve what you want is if you really help enough people achieve what they want, is to become that servant leader. And those who serves will always be at the top of the game. And a lot of individuals in this industry, they like to come in with a certain arrogance or with a certain ego. And even back in the days, that's what they would teach you. The more you grew, the more honor they had to give you and all that. Where in essence, I'm a trench. I like to be in the trenches. You like to be in the trenches. Or Karen Justice likes to be in the trenches. Okay, we have all these top leaders in the company that we're trench. We're in the trench. We're there helping you. No matter how much we make or how long we've been around or how good our life is right now, we know that it's by virtue of helping individuals that are looking for an opportunity, and they're looking for those mentors that are going to help them and allow them to get to where they want to get to. And what good is it to know everything you know if you're going to go out and not share it with everyone or not make yourself available? So my daily method of operation is to remind myself of all that, to remind myself that no matter where you're at, you're always going to have situations coming your way. There's a saying that says that if you're alive, you're going to have 1,000 problems in your life, right? But if you're sick with an illness, you only have one problem you want to take care of, and you really forget about everything else, right? So as long as we're alive, we're going to be able to face everything that comes our way, because achieving a rank or achieving an income doesn't know all the things that tend to happen in your life. But in fact, they're just there to remind you that you got to keep growing and you got to keep expanding. So one of the things is stay teachable. I learn as much as I can from you. You're one of the 5 people I talk to the most, right? From Steve Scott till this day, which is the reason why I stuck with him, because everything he had said from day one that I met him in 2008, he was always honest about it. He always had the integrity about it. He always did what he said he was going to do and made it happen. So this was something that I didn't want to miss out by just doubting someone that has never created a doubt for me by virtue of his example. So I want to become that example. I want to become that level of person where individuals that get to know me, that I work with on an everyday basis, that I get to meet and I get to have the blessing and honor to mentor them, to understand that what they see is really what they get and is what I duplicate throughout the organization.
You know what? You really do duplicate that. And this next topic, before I ask the question about what qualities you look for in prospects, can I just say to everyone listening, I literally just mirror what Alex does. He's a servant leader. Alex is in my team all over the world in different parts while I'm asleep, because we're in Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere, and it's just inspiring. And, just in this last week, I've been on calls just a few hours ago with some exciting, inspirational, powerhouse women from other companies that are coming here because they can see our compensation plan just eliminates others. Products are very unique. I've been on a call with 3 these leaders this week are all coming off from other companies, Europe. It's now 3.5 years, and I say we have met some individuals for us that were red flags. Like first thing they do is put their hand out. How much can you pay me to join our company? We don't need to pay anyone. It should be the other way around, because we have something no one else has. Individuals anyway that have that sort of ego, put the hand out for money first, never produce or never stay anyway. And I know now, for me, when I meet new people, I'm looking for, are they the same about themselves, or are they a serve match our culture? But what qualities do you look for?
I look mainly for three qualities, and it's not how much experience they have. It's not if they're a doctor or not, so they can understand the product. It's none of those things. The three qualities that I look for is someone that's teachable, someone that no matter what they've been through, what their level of experience is, they're always willing to learn. And you may know everything about network marketing, but you don't know everything about the Neumi culture. So if you're gonna come here, you really need to understand and learn what the culture is. So number one, teachable. Number two, individuals that are willing to prepare themselves by virtue of that personal development and understanding the tools that you have and prepare yourself with those tools so that then, in essence, you become a messenger and not the message or not the tool. Because what good is it if you want everything to evolve around you and because you want that attention or your ego needs to be fed in a certain way where you always need to be the center of attention when you have tools that will allow you to free yourself up. Okay, the best thing we all possess is our freedom. And if you prepare yourself, the more you prepare yourself, the more teachable you are, the more free you become. And number three is committed, and say what you said you were going to do at the time that you said it. That is commitment. You know, it's being able to be there for others and have your calendar open for those individuals that are serious about this and that do need the help, and for you to continue to grow with them, okay, and through them, so that then you can find other individuals that are out there looking. I can't imagine what the number is, but I'm sure there's millions of individuals across the world right now that before they go to bed, it's dark where I'm at, it's waking up where you're at, but no matter what time of the day it is, most individuals get on their knees and ask for an opportunity to change their life. Okay, and that's the one thing why you and I never came into this asking for anything. All we wanted was the opportunity to succeed based on what we know and based on what we did, based on that personal growth and experience. So it was the one thing we wanted to do. Just give us the opportunity, we'll take care of the rest. Okay, and that takes commitment, and not a commitment that's steadfast with someone telling you what to do or disciplining you on a day-to-day basis. A commitment that comes from inside, knowing that what you're doing not only is creating the lifestyle you want, but you're helping others do that and help expand that legacy that we're all about.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, any final thoughts you'd like to share with everyone?
All I can tell you is that no matter what you do or where you're at right now in life, the best thing you can do is open up your mind to ideas that you probably didn't think you were going to be faced with opportunity. And opportunity lies within the fact of you being able to go and become a different person, because if you continue to do what you do, we know what happens. You continue to recycle the same experiences, which in most cases are not the ones you want and not the ones that you're happy with. Okay, and to be able to have an opportunity that's gonna in essence force you to grow by virtue of expansion, by virtue of learning, by virtue of being around individuals that are better to you, you're going to become a better player in life, and not just in your finances, but better player in your house. You know, you're going to become a better individual, and that's what Neumi started set itself out to do at the very beginning. You know, help us become the best version of ourselves by literally facing those things we don't want to face most times. Okay, which is what you've had to do, what I've had to do, and I won't get into your story, but you went through things that literally helped you face, okay, you know what? This isn't what I was cut out for. Uber driving was not what I was cut out for. I was cut out for bigger things. When you have that level of confidence, that level of belief, and that level of individuals that surround you that tell you, yep, let's do it. Let's go out and make it happen. Let's get out of there. You will get out of there. So it doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter where you're going through, because I'm living proof of that. Okay, it doesn't matter what your level of school or academic education is. What matters is what your level of desire is and level of you willing to change so that you can achieve those things that you set out to do at one point. And remember, there's a lot of dreams that you have and you put them in the drawers for most of the time, but they're still there. It doesn't matter how long ago you dreamt the dream or how long ago you decided that you wanted to do something and it hasn't happened for you. Neumi has come to be able to show you the way and light the way so that you can literally find yourself in living the life that you want to live, whatever that life may be. And that to me is success. Success is living the life that you set out yourself to be. It's not an amount of money that you make a month or a year, because when you make the money and you get there, you realize that you're going to be as unhappy as you were before you had the money if your goal is a money goal. But when you help other lives around you and you help other individuals around you, you need a big tool for that. And in the shoulders of a giant, you're going to be able to go further and see further. And this company is full of giants that are willing to help you. And Steve Scott is at the helm.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure a lot of people are going to get a lot out of this today, Alex. So thank you. And for those people who are on brand new, if you're a Neumi member, share this with your team so they can get the culture. It's not about, as Alex said, he'd been in the past, had the cars, had the houses, but he's really about helping other people. That's what this is about, transforming other people's lives. Now, I said earlier that if you were on this presentation first time, second time, a million times, we don't care. Type in "pick me please" in the chat and you go in the draw. Now, just randomly from last week, we literally, if you're wondering how we go about this, all the comments are there. We just scroll till we find a name, and then we go, what's that name? Brad Till. So if you're on right now, Brad Till, you got an American flag on there, which means he must be from the US somewhere in the world, or at least be a US citizen somewhere. So please reach out to Everything Neumi Worldwide page, the Facebook page, privately on a direct message, and we will get a free bottle of product out for you. But for everybody else, type in "pick me please" in the chat if you'd like to go in next week. Even if you're watching the playback in a week from now, feel free to type that in the chat or type in where you're watching this from, and you can go in the draw. And the final thing I'd like to say too is this has been live streamed on Facebook. It's been live streamed on YouTube, LinkedIn, all over the place. But I'm going to put in the chat now, just a copy paste message. Highly recommend that you go out there and, whoops, wrong chat, and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, because that way you can play everything back and send it to friends, colleagues, etc., etc. So I'm going to put that in the chat right now, and feel free to click there, hit subscribe, and then you can be watching the events on future events as well. And in the meantime, as I always say, because I'm here in Australia and it is morning and Alex is probably going to bed, there's Brad Till right now. I just typed in "pick me please." So he was watching. So good morning, good afternoon, and good